Modern medicine can replace joints, scan the brain, and save tiny babies, yet some real diseases still sit in a dark place doctors cannot fully explain. That does not mean these illnesses are fake, weak, or only in someone's head, because doctors can often see the pattern even without knowing the root cause. In these mystery cases, medicine may know the symptoms, know some treatments, and know the danger, but still not know why the illness starts. The strange part is not that doctors know nothing, but that they know enough to see the shape and still cannot solve it. Tonight, each disease is a case file with one missing answer, the answer people want most. Why did this begin and what is driving it? The first file is ME and CFS, one of the most serious and misunderstood illness mysteries in modern medicine. People often hear fatigue and think of being sleepy after work, but ME and CFS can be much harsher than plain tiredness. The key sign is something called post-exertional malaise, which means effort can cause a crash that lasts for days or longer. That effort can be physical, like walking too much, or mental, like reading, talking, or trying to focus for too long. A person may look calm on the outside, then pay for one small task with a deep collapse later. Many patients also report brain fog, pain, dizziness, unrefreshing sleep, and a strong sensitivity to light, sound, or other normal daily input. Doctors can describe that pattern, but the root cause still stays out of reach, even after years of study. Some researchers suspect immune dysregulation, which means the body's defense system may be acting in the wrong way or at the wrong level. Others look at autonomic dysfunction, where the automatic systems that control heart rate, blood pressure, and body balance may be disturbed. Another idea points to impaired energy metabolism, which means cells may not be making or using energy in a normal way. Some cases seem to start after an infection, so post-infectious triggers have become another major clue in this file. There is also interest in autoantibodies, where the immune system may mistakenly react against the body itself in some patients. Yet no single theory explains every patient, no universal biomarker can confirm every case, and no one treatment reverses the whole illness. That is why ME and CFS remains a real medical mystery, not because the suffering is vague, but because the cause is still incomplete. The second file is fibromyalgia, a condition known for widespread pain that can cover large parts of the body at once. Pain is only part of it, because many patients also have fatigue, poor sleep, mental fog, and a feeling that normal sensations hit too hard. Many researchers think the central nervous system may be processing pain in an altered way, almost like the volume knob is turned up. That model helps explain sensory amplification, where touch, sound, stress, or ordinary body signals may feel much stronger than expected. But even if pain processing is altered, the deeper question remains: why did that system change in the first place? Fibromyalgia also overlaps with irritable bowel syndrome, migraine, anxiety, trauma history, and other chronic pain conditions, which makes the map even messier. One patient may improve with exercise and careful pacing, while another patient may worsen and crash after trying the same plan. That split matters, because it hints that one label may be covering different biological paths that only look similar from the outside. Doctors can recognize fibromyalgia, and treatments can help some people, but the single root cause still has not been found. The third file is POTS, short for postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, a condition that often shows itself when a person stands up. In POTS, the heart rate rises too much on standing, and that can bring dizziness, palpitations, weakness, brain fog, and sometimes nausea. Some people also feel shaky, trembly, or close to fainting, as if the body cannot smoothly handle a simple upright position. The autonomic nervous system is clearly involved here because it helps control blood flow, heart rate, and those automatic body adjustments. But POTS does not seem to come from one clean cause that fits every patient in the same way. Some cases may involve partial neuropathy, where damaged nerves do a poor job tightening blood vessels at the right time. Other cases may involve abnormal sympathetic activation, where the body's alert system may be driving too hard or in the wrong pattern. Low blood volume is another possible piece, because not enough circulating fluid can make standing much harder for the body. Deconditioning may matter in some people, but it cannot explain every case, because many patients became sick before losing fitness. Researchers also study autoimmunity, connective tissue differences, and post-viral onset, especially when symptoms begin after an infection. So POTS may be less like one disease with one source and more like many roads leading to one outward pattern. That helps explain why treatment can work in parts without solving the whole riddle behind the condition. Fluid and salt strategies can help some patients, and symptom management can help, but the root cause remains mixed and unfinished. The fourth file is Kawasaki disease, and this mystery stands out because it mainly affects children and can become urgent very fast. The illness can bring fever, rash, red eyes, swollen hands and feet, mouth changes, and swollen lymph nodes. Doctors worry because Kawasaki disease can injure the coronary arteries, the blood vessels that feed the heart itself. That danger makes early treatment extremely important, and early care has saved many children from serious heart complications. Still, after decades of study, the exact cause remains unknown, and that is what makes this file so unsettling. Many researchers suspect an infectious trigger, meaning some common germ may start the process in the wrong child at the wrong time. They also suspect an abnormal immune response in children who are somehow more susceptible than others. But no single pathogen has been confirmed as the one universal cause, and no simple answer closes the case. So medicine can treat the danger and still not fully explain why the disease begins in the first place. The fifth file is endometriosis, a disease that is common, serious, and still not fully explained at its deepest level. In endometriosis, tissue similar to the uterine lining grows outside the uterus, where it can cause pain and inflammation. That growth can also lead to scarring, bowel symptoms, bladder symptoms, painful periods, painful sex, and sometimes infertility. One reason this file stays open is that several theories explain part of the story, but none explains every patient. One theory is retrograde menstruation, where menstrual material flows backward instead of leaving the body in the usual direction. Another theory points to immune dysfunction, where the body may fail to clear tissue that should not stay and grow. Other ideas include colomic metaplasia, stem cell involvement, genetics, hormones, and spread through blood or lymph. Each theory fits some facts, but no single one can explain the full range of pain, location, severity, and timing. Another mystery makes this disease even harder to understand, because symptom severity and visible disease do not always match. One person may have severe lesions with less pain, while another may have disabling pain with less obvious visible disease. That mismatch tells doctors the story is bigger than simply counting spots of tissue and calling the case solved. Hormonal treatment can help, surgery can help, and pain care can help, but the deep cause still remains incomplete. The sixth file is nodding syndrome, one of the most haunting illness mysteries reported mainly in parts of East Africa. Children with this condition develop repeated head nodding seizures, and the illness can also bring cognitive decline and severe disability. Some affected children also show stunting and malnutrition, which turns the condition into not only a brain disease but a life-changing one. Scientists have studied links with Onchocerca volvulus, a parasite that has drawn major attention in this mystery. But the parasite has not been proven as the final direct cause in a simple one-step way. Other ideas include autoimmunity, neuroinflammation, environmental exposure, or indirect effects connected to infection instead of direct invasion. This is the kind of file that troubles medicine deeply because the pattern is real, severe, and still not fully explained. Doctors can provide seizure care and support, but the main question still stands: what starts this chain in these children? The seventh file is Morgellons disease, and this one is mysterious in a different and more controversial way. People who identify with Morgellons often report crawling, stinging, or biting sensations along with skin lesions. Some also report fibers or other material coming from the skin, which is one reason debate around the condition stays intense. Many clinicians place Morgellons within delusional infestation or related disorders, where the main issue may involve mistaken interpretation of body sensations. Some patients, and a minority of commentators, argue that at least some cases may have infectious or dermatologic causes instead. So the mystery here is not only biological, but also about observation itself. What exactly is happening, and how should it be read? That makes Morgellons one of the hardest files to discuss, because people can feel dismissed before the evidence is settled. Respect matters here because a person can be suffering greatly even when the medical framework remains disputed. Careful evaluation can still help by looking for psychiatric, dermatologic, neurologic, or infectious problems without mocking the patient's experience. When you step back from all 7 files, a pattern begins to appear across the mystery board. Some illnesses may stay unexplained because one label is hiding several different biological subtypes that only look alike on the surface. Some are underfunded, which slows research and leaves key questions sitting unanswered for longer than they should. Some affect women more often, and some affect poorer regions, both of which can shape how seriously systems study them. Some do not have a clean biomarker, so there is no single blood test, scan, or lab result that closes the case. Some cross many organ systems at once, which makes them hard for a one-organ medical model to understand. That system problem shows up strongly in the overlap between ME and CFS, fibromyalgia, POTS, long COVID, migraine, IBS, hypermobility, and chronic pain. When those conditions cluster in the same people, it suggests shared biology may exist even if the map is still unfinished. Maybe the hidden links involve autonomic dysfunction, immune shifts, pain processing, connective tissue differences, or post-infectious changes. Medicine is not powerless in these files, and that part matters because mystery is not the same as helplessness. Doctors can diagnose ME and CFS clinically even without one perfect lab marker that proves every case. Fibromyalgia has symptom management strategies, though they do not work the same way for every patient. POTS can improve with fluid and salt strategies and other supportive care even while the deeper cause remains mixed. Kawasaki disease has early treatment that can protect children from dangerous coronary artery damage. Endometriosis can be treated with hormones, surgery, or pain-focused care even while the cause stays unsettled. Nodding syndrome care can reduce seizures and complications, and Morgellons spectrum cases deserve respectful evaluation instead of quick contempt. That balance is the hard part of medicine's front line, treating real suffering while admitting the cause is still not fully known. Doctors have to avoid two mistakes at once: dismissing patients because science is incomplete, or declaring guesses as proven facts. Patients often live in the middle of that tension, carrying both the illness itself and the pain of not being fully believed. That social wound can become part of the mystery story, especially when symptoms are invisible, fluctuating, or spread across many systems. So when we say doctors still cannot explain these diseases, we are not saying nobody looked or nobody cared. We are saying researchers looked for years, found many clues, and still could not pull one final answer out of the dark. That is why these conditions matter so much, because they show exactly where modern medicine is still weakest. The weak spots are complex systems, subjective symptoms, overlapping syndromes, underfunded research, and diseases that do not obey one cause one test logic. In that sense, medical mysteries are not side stories at all, they are the front lines of the next big discoveries. Another reason these cases stay unsolved is that single-organ medicine struggles when one illness touches the immune system, nerves, blood vessels, sleep, pain, and digestion at once. That kind of overlap makes clean lab answers harder because the illness may not live in one body part long enough to look simple. Patients with mysterious illness often suffer twice, once from symptoms and once from the social pain of not being believed. Doctors face pressure too because they must treat serious suffering without claiming a cause they cannot yet prove. That tension can damage trust on both sides, especially when the illness has no single scan or blood test to settle the argument. The most honest way to see these diseases is as frontline problems where medicine is closest to its limits and closest to its next breakthroughs. When one mystery finally breaks, it can change several diagnoses at once because shared hidden biology begins to make sense across many conditions. If you want another disease story where medicine has clues but not a full answer, watch my next video on the strangest illness patterns doctors still debate.